Welcome to Kuier Rapport Matriekklas of 2021. I'm Carmichelle Fransch. I'll be teaching English First Additional Language. The topic for today is visual literacy, and this is lesson number 3. Grade 12, what is visual literacy? Well, as the name says, it is the ability to look at a picture or a diagram or some sort of visual stimulus and be able to understand it. Okay, so you must be able to read a picture. That is what visual literacy does. In your exam in paper 1, advertising and cartoons will be question 3 and 4. Right, today in this lesson I'm going to be focusing on advertising first. So, what is advertising? Advertising wants you to buy, the advertiser wants you to buy something, okay? And when we look at this picture, I want you to just hold it in your mind and remember the gentleman with only his head unbandaged. Just keep that in mind. So, what is it? It is a message designed to promote a product, a service, or an idea. So they want to sell something, okay? So either they want to sell a product, they want to sell you shoes or clothing, or a service, babysitting, or an idea. Let's all run together, okay? So remember, advertising wants to sell something to people. The messages are shown to the public via media, so in the newspaper, magazines, radio, television, billboards, flyers, social media. So these images that want to sell something will be delivered via these, okay? Right, so now when we are going to answer this in the exam, and this is ultimately grade 12 what this is all about, okay? We are going to be questioning, in the exams we are going to be testing your ability to answer the question for this, okay? If you are struggling a bit, the lesson today is going to make it a little bit easier as we are going to focus on simple things, okay? One important thing that you need to remember, however, is that this year, for the exam, 8 marks are going to focus on emotive language, which means that they are going to look at the picture and you should be able, to the value of 8 marks, be able to tell us about the emotions and the emotive techniques and the persuasive techniques used to sell this product. So when you look at the picture, how does it make you feel? Please bear that in mind. Right. So, target audience. What is that? These are the keywords for advertising that it is very important for you to remember. Target audience. What does that mean? Who are you aiming the product at? Okay, so target audience, what you must understand about that, grade 12, is that when you are reading the ad, you are the target audience. Okay, so let me explain. If you look at this ad and you look at the car, new Kuier, upgrade your life. Okay, who are they talking to? You must be able to put yourself in the shoes of whoever the advertiser is targeting. Okay, so here it could be a mum, it could be a dad, it could be someone who drives school kids. So you have to decide and then put yourself in their shoes, and that's what target audience is about, right? Then we've got headline, imagery, and image. So that's the picture, slogan, logo. Okay, what is the punchline, and then what is the product that they are selling? Okay, the brand. Persuasive techniques. So we need to know these things before we can even answer the question. Okay, let's just move on to the next slide. Right, so there's a principle that is used in advertising. Okay, and what it does is it takes various things into consideration, and when those criteria are met, then we would decide whether the ad is good or bad. So how do they do that? It's called the AIDA technique. And what does the A stand for? Attracting. So, when you see the picture, it must attract your attention. Or when you see the message, because remember, it could be a product, it could be an idea that is being sold. Okay, so when you see this thing on paper, it must attract your attention. That's what the A stands for. The I, it must hold your interest. So, when you see this picture and it's attracted your attention, does it hold your interest? Does it make you want to look for more information? Does it make you want to go and sort of investigate this product a little bit more? D stands for desire. What does that mean? So once your attention has been attracted and your interest has been held, do you now want to go out and get this product? So let's, for example, say grade 12. For the boys, it's a pair of shoes, and for the girls, it's also a pair of shoes, but obviously the one that you'd like most. So, how would they attract your attention? Those shoes will stand out. So the colors of the shoe, the design, even the font, the lettering on the ad is going to attract your attention. How do they hold your interest? So they say, you must imagine yourself in this. Okay, so now you're looking at the shoes and you're thinking, wow, awesome, I would totally rock these shoes. Desire. Now they're going to speak to how it is made especially for you. So it will make you feel, this is my shoe. I'm the only person who's going to have it. Action, they tell you something like, you know what, it's actually on special right now. So they make you go over into action and actually go and buy that shoe. So we all know what I'm talking about. When you go into a shopping app, okay, online, and I see, oh wow, I love this designer, attracting my attention. Because first of all, I saw there was a sale, attracting my attention. Interest, the designer I like is on sale. Desire, I see the dress, and I imagine what I'm going to look like in it. Action, I go over and I buy it because it is such a good price. Okay. Now, what do we look for in an ad to be able to read it? Because remember, visual literacy is about reading and understanding a picture. The comprehension is words and how the words have been strung together to form sentences, to form paragraphs, which then give you an idea. Advertising is completely different. It's a picture that you need to read, and you need to understand what is the picture saying. How do we do that? So remember, nothing in an advert is accidental. Remember, people, the ad doesn't have a voice. It doesn't have the ability to speak to you. So it has to speak to you with what is on the page. And how do they do that? So we look at the visual first, okay? And like I said, these things, it basically is ADA repeated. It grabs your attention, the picture. It creates an interest. Now it evokes emotions. Remember earlier when I said about the dress that I like so much? So, emotion. I'm going to imagine that dress, and I'm going to imagine how good I'm going to look in the dress, and I'm going to imagine how very few other people are going to have that dress. So the emotion's there. So now I'm just looking for a way to buy it. And that's how we know the ad's successful. Okay? So there will be a catchphrase. So often it is presented as a visual image. Let me explain to you an ad by Nike. So we all know that Nike's got the tick. And we know that it says, just do it. Okay? Now, the tick is which one do you think it is here? It's the logo. So the slogan, the catchphrase will be, just do it. We've all heard it. So because of that, we know, okay, that is Nike. So, now there, your visual image is your tick. When you see that tick, what do you think? Just do it. And immediately think of the brand, which is Nike, and you're going to get it. Okay, so often the pictures are also enigmatic. What does that mean? Cryptic, vague. It means that when you look at the picture, you want to know more. You want to know, what is this picture trying to get me to do? When you see that item being advertised, or you see that idea being advertised, it must hold you so that you want to know more. One thing, guys, that you're going to discover about advertising is that often the idea, the ADA idea, it crisscrosses. So action, interest, desire, emotion, all of those things go together in order to ultimately get you to buy the product. But for the purpose of studying, I would suggest that you go and look at the ad and try and identify those 4 principles. Remember, I'm not going to do a lesson today on a particular ad. What I'm doing is exam prep so that you know what to look for when you go and study that ad. Okay, the copy. What is copy in an ad? It's basically the small lettering, the little bit of extra information. The one where when your teacher sets it up, then they enlarge it and they make a little block around it. That's the copy, or the body copy. That will always have extra information. That is the part of the ad where they'll say to you contact details, or directions, or how to, or ingredients, but always extra information in words that is related to the image. So remember, because it's advertising, the first thing you're going to see is the picture. The body copy will join with that and give you the extra information that you need. Okay. Beneath the image, it gives the facts and it persuades or manipulates you to make a decision. Okay? So, what does that mean? It's the part about calling you to action. It's the part about Ada that makes you go over and actually do this thing. Go and buy this product. Go and call this person to come and babysit your child. Whatever the idea or the product is that's being sold, it will be explained in the body copy. So the body copy will explain the image. I hope that you understand that. Right. Now, persuasive techniques. Remember earlier I said that this year with paper 1 there are changes, okay, and 2 of those changes are to the cartoon and to the ad. And the changes there are that 8 out of the 10 marks will now be focusing on persuasive techniques, on emotive language. So what about this ad, this picture that you're going to see is going to make you go out and actually buy the product? Because remember, ultimately that's what an advert's about, getting you to go over and into action and buy the product. So visual, what you see, it's going to speak to you. And I know I'm repetitive, but I can't stress enough how important it is that you understand that the visual is the first thing that you need to look at and study. Okay? If you can go back to, before I finish this lesson, I'm going to go back to the picture of the gentleman with the bandage and show you exactly what I mean. Okay, the ad, the words, it will be directed at you. It will be speaking to you. Okay, so you are going to feel as if you are the person that the ad was written for. Okay, and that will tell you whether or not the ad's been successful. Just imagine, it's an ad for parents. Okay, you're not a parent necessarily, but if you are able to understand that this is aimed at parents, objective achieved. Okay, then you are able to understand an advert. Right, so they are going to speak, the ad's going to speak to the same interests as the reader. So if it is aimed at a parent, okay, they are going to speak about things that parents are involved in. Okay, depending obviously on the age of the child, but we're not going to go into that. They are going to speak to what that person is currently experiencing. Remember, I cannot reiterate this enough. The ad is not aimed at the learner. Okay? The ad is aimed at a target audience. But when you are in that exam venue and you are answering the question on advertising, you now become the target audience. So you become the parent, or you become the young person that they're aiming to talk to, or you become whoever the target audience is. And now you have to ask yourself from that perspective, is this ad successful? Will I do what this ad is asking me to do? Okay, so literary expression. So they catch you with a good phrase. Okay, repetition. Why would they repeat something? And this is true in any of your other papers. Repetition is for emphasis. Okay, so if they want to drill an idea through, one way that they can do that is by repeating certain things. Okay, and say for example we are at the point of the action with the ad. They want you to buy it. Then they're going to tell you, act now, final offer, ends in 2 days. So repetition are the idea that you need to act with urgency. Okay, so that's a persuasive technique, right? Then repetition, for emphasis, I've just said that. Rhetorical question. Why would they ask a rhetorical question? To make you think, because remember, rhetorical questions don't have answers. Okay, but they make you think about it. So, for example, they say, would you like to look younger? Who wouldn't like to look younger? So it's a rhetorical question, and you're thinking, do I want to do this? You know, who wants to be fit? Who wants to, so they appeal to things that will sort of play on your emotions. Okay, and then you sit there and you think like, maybe I do want to do this. Objective achieved. Now they've got you, right? So the emotive adjectives will tug at your emotions. What do I mean when I say that? They will say words that speak to your heart. Okay, so once again, depending on who the target audience is, what if it's men, which is just men, okay? They say things like handsome, They say things like leave. They say things like fit. Okay, and successful, wealthy. So those are words, emotive words that will speak to men. And I know that I am being, I'm just casting a blanket statement, but I'm thinking about my learners and the things that they're interested in. The girls, if they speak about things like smelling good, looking good, being slim, wearing clothes that no one else has, emotive language. They tag at your emotions. They want to make you feel as if you are the only person in the world who's going to have this. And then, objective achieved. You're going to go out and you're going to buy that product, aren't you? I think you are. Then, style. Is it direct? Is it casual? Is it informal? How are they talking to you? Because remember, advertisers will really speak to you in a formal setting. Why? Because they want to make it seem as if they are talking to you. They are your friend. So they're going to be informal. Because it's like, come, get our thing, get our product, buy from us, hire us, use us. Are you with me? And you're not going to do that if you don't trust the person. So can you imagine having a picture and having to do all these things with a picture? And we are now asking you to go and study that picture and go and identify these things so that you know how to answer the questions. It's not easy, but it can be done. Why? Because I'm teaching you what to look for in an advert, and I'm going to teach you about a cartoon soon. Right. Numbers, data, what is that about? Why do they give you numbers and data? Well, if you look at the numbers and the data, they are going to cement what the ad is saying. Pardon? That's why they'll give you numbers and data to cement what they are saying. What do I mean by that? If they say to you, a beauty product, for example, that they've done testing, they say 98% positivity rate. So they give you numbers and data to back up their claims, to make it seem as if, oh wow, this is so true. It's been studied, it's been, people have gone and they've done experiments on it, and they give you the data from that. Okay? And data cements the claims of the advertiser, and that will be part of your copy, your body copy that we spoke about earlier. Right. Guilt, what does that mean? They use that to manipulate you to buy the product. Okay? Persuasive techniques, let's continue with that. So, you need to know what it is so that you know if it's been used effectively. Okay? If you don't know what persuasive techniques are, you're not going to know if they got you to do what they wanted you to do. Because remember, you are ultimately the person that goes into that venue now. And you're going to evaluate that advert. You're going to decide whether it's good or bad based on the tips that I've just given you. Okay? So, visual, images, words. Okay? Does it look good? The font size, the layout. Did they put the picture in the correct place? Did they put the body copy in the correct place? Did they use a picture that speaks to your emotion? Okay? Do you think that the people they've aimed, the target market they've aimed for, has been reached? The rhetorical questions, have they worked? Ultimately, has ADA been applied? And has it worked? Because remember, you can say it's a good ad, but you can also say it's a bad ad. Okay? If you feel that whatever they're saying here does not apply to the target market. Remember, when you say yes or no, you don't get a mark. However, you do get a mark if you are able to motivate what you are saying. So if you say it's a bad ad, then you say, I don't think it speaks to the target audience in terms of trying to get them to do a particular thing. Okay? So you must have an opinion. It's important to have an opinion, but you must be able to say why. Okay, so if you look at this picture, it's true smoking really does make you cool. Now remember we spoke about images. This man is lying in a morgue. Morgues are, I'm going to explain the picture to you. Morgues are cold. Okay, it's where you find bodies, because you can see the little tag on there. So that tells us who he is. Okay? So, the setting of the ad, who's the target audience? It's true, smoking really does make you cool. Is it dead people? Is it people who are alive? Who are they talking to? In this instance, they are talking to smokers. Why? Because they want to say that smoking kills. So, but there's a play on words because they say really does make you cool. So when you stand with that cigarette, thinking, I'm fabulous, I'm so cool. The picture says, you know what, you are cool in as far as you end up in the morgue dead from lung cancer if you keep smoking. That's not so cool, grade 12. So it makes you think, you know what I'm saying? What is the hidden message? How does the advertiser make you feel and why? When I look at this picture, then I'm thinking, really, I don't want to smoke and die, man. Like, I know it looks cool, but So if the advertiser can do that, objective achieved. Because what are they selling you here? Remember now, it's an idea, or it's a product, or it's something. In this instance, it's the idea of not smoking. They're saying, smoke and you will die. Are you with me? So, objective achieved, because I'm thinking, I don't want to lie there like that. It's lonely. I know I'm going to be dead, but it's lonely. You're dead. You're cold because you wanted to look cool, and now you literally are cool. And you know what? You can't even feel that cool because you're dead. That's what this advertiser is saying. Do you think that they're saying it successfully? I think that they are. Right. I pledge, the next ad, I pledge to choose my taxi by its tires, not its sound. Now, township guys, what does a taxi sound like when it drives past you? All that I hear when I'm driving in my car and there's a taxi is doof, doof, doof. That's all I hear. I don't hear the music, I just hear the bass. This guy's saying, I'm not going to do that. I am going to choose my taxi by its tires. So, tires are what makes your vehicle safe on the road. So this guy's saying, I would rather my passengers be safe than fabulous. So I pledge to choose my taxi. And now the word pledge instead of promise. How many people say promise you it was fantastic? Now imagine me going, I pledge to you it was fantastic. It doesn't sound the same. It doesn't bring that same emotion across. So the use of the word now, remember, we spoke about all of these things earlier. Why would that word, the word pledge, be better than promise? It sounds a little bit more formal, okay, and it sounds a little bit more serious as opposed to promise, because we also promise all the time and we break things left, right, and center. But pledge, not so much. So look at the types of words that the advertiser is using to bring across their message, okay? Then the questions again. What is the hidden message? How does the advertiser make you feel? I feel like I would rather drive with this guy. Imperial. Why? Because they are putting my safety first by using proper tires. They are pledging. They are saying, man, get into our cars because we are going to keep you safe. So, the word choice, very important, okay? Literal and figurative language. Safer, friendlier roads. Who's the target audience? Safer, friendlier roads start with you. Who's the target audience? Who do you think? Transport. The people driving cars. The people driving, and in this instance, a taxi. Okay? Whether it be the taxi with the loud music that we all know in the townships, whether it be an Uber, whether it doesn't matter what type of transport. What they're saying is, Imperial, there's the word pledge, and I pledge, and taxi, tires, everything is there for you to see that they want you to choose Imperial. So they're not selling you tires, guys. They're selling you this product. They're saying use Imperial because we use good tires. We are more concerned about your safety than anything else. Do you understand what I'm saying in terms of course you understand. But if you look at the pictures, the emotion in terms of, oh, no, I do not want to die because I smoke. I would rather get into that guy's taxi because he puts my safety first. That is what we're talking about in terms of advertising. Okay, I trust that you understand that. Right, now, the second part of visual literacy is cartoons. And what are cartoons? Cartoons are supposed to make you laugh. Okay? And there are different ways of doing this. But let's first look at the structure of the cartoon. So you know that your cartoon is going to have little blocks like that drawn. And those are called, what are they called? Frames, correct. Okay. And your frame will contain thought, or speech bubbles, okay? There will be movement lines, font, punctuation symbols, and why do we have those things? We have them so that we can enhance the graphic and the speech. What does that mean? I'll explain to you when I have a cartoon, which is next. So take note of each frame, because each frame tells its own story, okay? And then you need to be able to know how people are feeling. How do they show you how they are feeling? How are the emotions communicated? What can we note about the relationship between characters? When and where is the cartoon set? Okay, so remember, these are the basics of a cartoon. So, how do we create humor? 3 things, guys. Stereotype, caricature, satire. Okay, what does that mean? Stereotype, all women are bad drivers. Which is not true, but it's a stereotype. Okay, caricature. So, that would basically be if you take an individual's appearance, and you take the thing that stands out about them the most, and you enlarge that. So, for example, if somebody wears glasses and they've got big ears, then they draw a small little head with big ears and glasses. Caricature. Satire, you take something that is serious and you make fun of it, you make light of it. You know what? South Africans are actually very, very good at satire. And you know what we call it? We call it memes. So everything that is happening, we take it and we joke about it. And that's what satire is. You take something serious and you add humor to it to make light of it. Okay, so what is tone? The attitude in a character's words. If they were supposed to say that out loud, or if they were to say that out loud, what would it sound like to you? That's what tone is, okay? And tone words are things like sarcastic, angry, distraught, okay? How does it sound? Visual and verbal clues show emotion through facial expression and body language. What does that mean? That's all very pretty English, but what does it mean? When you see a character in a cartoon and they're frowning, what emotion do you get from a frown? Okay? And that's what it means. Visual, what can you see? And then, if they are saying no, there's a verbal clue, the word no. And remember we spoke about punctuation mark, and frowning. We get emotion from that. The person is obviously not satisfied, or angry, or sad, or upset. But that is how emotion is conveyed in an in a cartoon. So, also there will be things like ambiguity and wordplay. So we've spoken about a play on words, when things are, the idea of being cool with the cigarettes in the earlier little presentation. Literal and figurative connotations. What does that mean? So, we have words, okay? And all words have a denotative meaning, which means all words have a meaning in the dictionary. However, connotation is the emotional aspect of that word. And connotation can be both positive or either positive or negative. Right? And that's what they're asking you here. And can be literal and figurative. What does that mean? Let me explain. If you say the word snake, denotative meaning, reptile. Connotative meaning, good or bad? It's bad. So the word snake has a negative connotation. Okay? Because it implies certain things, that it makes you feel a certain way. Right? Then, and also, connotations, figurative. Denotations, often literal. Remember, because denotation, dictionary, literal. Connotation, emotion, figurative. Can be good or bad. Guys, you can go back and watch this entire thing and then just press pause and write down what I'm saying, because what I'm saying is actually notes that you can use to go and study. What is onomatopoeia? You know what that is? The wheels on the bus go round and round, and then you get the wipers. And how do the wipers go? Swish, swish, swish. And that's what onomatopoeia is. Onomatopoeia is when a word makes the sound of an object. So, ka-ching, money. That's what onomatopoeia is. When you hear that, you know, whoop, money. Persuasive techniques, layout, font, emotive words, repetition, etc. Let's look at a cartoon. Right. We've got how many frames? 1, 2, 3. Okay? We've got 2 characters. And we've got speech bubbles, the thought bubbles, will be little circles. That's how we'll know the difference. Okay? Now, if we look at this picture, 0, stop following me around. We are seeing exclamation mark. So we know he's not saying 0, stop following me around. He's like 0, stop following me around. Then 0 goes, but you said to follow you. And 0 doesn't have any, remember what he's saying, there's no punctuation. But you said to follow you. I meant to follow my orders. Now get lost. Now remember, we can clearly see a pattern here. 0 takes everything literally. He said, follow my orders. So 0 is what you said, follow you. No, follow my orders. Now he says, get lost. Where does 0 go to? He goes for a long walk and he literally gets lost. And that is the humor in the cartoon. Okay? So there are use in frame 1, use of exclamation mark. What effect does it have? I read it to you. With the exclamation marks, okay? Expression on his face. So now, remember I said emotion is you have visual and you have verbal clues. So look at how irritated he looks. His eyes are close together. So that is a visual clue of his irritation. Okay, and the verbal, the exclamation mark, stop following me around. So that tells you Sarge is not in the mood. Okay? And then obviously that is what gives us emotion. What indication has the cartoonist used, guys? These are actual examples of questions, okay? And now, with the cartoon and the ad, please remember that this is what they are going to be asking you in terms of your emotion. They're going to ask you 8 marks in terms of what you are seeing in these pictures, okay? What is the purpose of the clipboard? It shows, what does it show us? Somebody with a clipboard, we know, at our school. The person with the clipboard is the person that's busy and has got things to do and the person in charge. So that's what the picture is telling us. That Sarge is in charge and 0 is a subordinate. So we must be able, once again, important, you must read the pictures. If you look at this, what are these? These are cacti, okay? And where are we going to find them? Along the road? No. We're going to find them out in the desert. And what did Sarge tell him to do? Get lost. What did he do? He took it literally. That's not what Sarge meant at all. Remember, that is why it's funny. Okay? Then, the use of highlighted font. But you said to follow you. I meant to follow my orders. So we know that when they are going to say those words, they are going to emphasize them. Okay? And that is the purpose of using that type of font. And that is the purpose of having those in bold. Right? Use of highlighted font there, I said that. So now we know how to say the word. Okay, frame 2, the expression on Sergeant's face. Sergeant is glaring at him. How does he feel? How do you think he feels? So now look how confused our guy looks over here. He's like, but you said I must follow you. And Sergeant's like, I said follow my orders. So the picture, guys, I can't explain to you enough that without anything else, just looking at the expressions and looking at what's happening, you can see, here they're walking, he's irritated. Now he's shouting at him, now he goes away. Okay? And that's without even looking at the words. Then we look at the words and we're like, oh my word, that's hilarious, because 0 is taking everything literally. So when you look at the cartoon, you need to go and say like, is this funny? What makes it funny? Are you able to identify the humor? And then you know, your head's through. You've got this. Okay? The expression of 0. Look at 0's eyes. He's like, just standing there, looking. But no, I don't know. I can't understand. Why are you getting upset? This is what you told me to do. Okay? How has the cartoonist conveyed this feeling? What does that mean? Like the feeling of confusion. He's like standing there with a blank expression on his face. So there's an emotion. But now, how are we going to know what that emotion is? What has the cartoonist done to show us that emotion? Okay? And then get lost. Literal and figurative meaning. Remember we spoke about that earlier? Does it literally mean get lost? Well, clearly 0 thinks that, but we know that that's not what Sarge meant. Sarge meant, just go away from me. Just go, because you don't understand what I'm saying. Just get lost. But 0 takes that literally as well, in the same vein as following Sarge around, and that's why that's funny. Okay, frame 3. How has Zero misinterpreted literal and figurative language? We've gone through that. That's how they're going to ask the question. And what is the setting? So where? Remember we spoke about the desert? Far away. How does that convey meaning in terms of, whoop, he's gotten lost? Are you with me? So the picture will speak to, there we go, to the speech bubbles. Right. Grade 12, that is the end of my presentation. Okay, but before we do that, I just want to go back to one little thing. This picture. Okay, now remember this is both visual literacy. A picture paints 1,000 words. The only thing that is safe in this picture is this man's head. And that tells us that whatever he had on his head is what saved his life. If we are able to look at that picture and figure out what that product is, then I think objective achieved, you understand visual literacy a lot better than you did 30 minutes ago. Thank you.